All round, there it is. Happy days. We're just getting straight on with it. Right then guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked. My name's John Murray and I'm an angling addict, and today I'm fishing in the Northern River Masters on the River Hull at Beverley. I've actually drawn what's peg 10 today and I'm on what's known as the shipyard section. As you can see from the peg, well, the river's quite narrow. My peg has actually got a sunken boat in it, so I can't go all the way across and target the far side with the pole. There's a big tide coming in right now. When I set the box out in the water, I was actually sat on mud, but it's come up a good foot or so, potentially going to come up another foot or so as well. So yeah, may need to get the waders on shortly and just to get out to the box. I've got to be honest, I've never fished the river before. I've got an inkling of what to do. Today I've set up a 15 gram flat float, a 5 gram flat float which is well overshotted. The 15 grammer I'm going to fish out at about 13 metres, so just off from the boat. If you imagine that boat is sunk, and I'm thinking that the deck is coming down towards me, so I can't go all the way across. I'm thinking I'll probably end up getting snagged on it. Other than that, all I've set up is a 3 gram stick float, a big Drennan stick, and also a 40 gram maggot feeder, but I can switch that out, put a cage on, put a ground bait feeder on. Feeding wise, quite honestly, I don't know what to do. A couple of the lads have said ball it on the inside. Don't think I'm going to do that while it's ripping through. So my plan is to go out on the little maggot feeder, get a little bit of bait down on the inside, and then potentially as it slows off, I'll start loose feeding the swim and fish on the stick. For the 2 pole lines, one I'm going to fish at about 5 metres, which is basically over the stick float line, and the 13 metre line, I'm going to introduce the bait via bait dropper. On the far side, I'm going to put some chopped worm and maggots in, and on the near side, I'm going to put hemp and maggot. If none of that works, I've got some bread with me as well. I mixed up some punch crumb today. I've got some oyster shell to add weight to get the punch crumb down to the bottom. If you haven't seen the video on the Foss Basin where I added oyster shell to my bread punch, I'll put a link to it up here. Go and check it out after this one. I'll try and show you the rigs as I go along. Right, remember guys, if you enjoy the videos, give them a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode every time I upload one. Right, I'm going to get off this box, go get my waders on before I start getting water over the top of my wellies. Catch you soon. Right, that's time guys, let's get going. I think most people are balling it in, but I don't fancy it. So I'm just going to start out on my little Camazan black cap feeder. It's a 40 grammer. It's just on a running bead and it's trapped off by 2 quick stops. Tiny little swivel boom and a 2 foot hook length at the moment. And the intention is just to put a bit of maggot down on this line to start with. See if anything wants it stood still. I'm just going to hold the rod. Really not going to go far out. Just going to flick it pretty much on my pole line. Got a 3 ounce tip in and it's ripping through. But I'm just going to hold the rod. There's rafts of weed coming down. I just think by making sure the bait stays in pretty much one place, we're not going to be spreading fish upriver and downriver. Need to make sure it gets down. High tide's expected in half an hour. So it'll probably start standing still at that point and then start coming back down to my left. At the moment we're fishing the wrong way, upstream. Once it starts to turn, that's when I'm going to put the bait droppers in. And that's a bite on the feeder. Oh, I snagged up that fish. It was a good bite though. Okay, well no further bites on the feeder after the first chuck. So I've put 5 loads of maggots down there. So I'm going to go on the stick. We're just going to run this float through pretty much so we can cover a bit more ground. I have actually got it set up on an olivet. It's 3 gram olivet, a few number 8s, just trapping it off, and then we've only got 1, 2 number 8s down there and a little micro swivel as well. Float itself is one of these Drennan big sticks, 3 gram version. Smash maggot. So there's fish there. But I think the flow's starting to ease off. So I am going to drop a bait dropper in just to get some more bait down. So a nice big bait dropper. Handful of hemp. Some maggots and a few pinkies. There we go. She's in. There's another bite. Lifted the float. And that's it, we're in. Tiny roach. But it's a start. Another fish. Stick's working nice down the inside. They're only little. Some better fish. And another. Feels a bit better, this one. Oh yeah, that's lovely. You've what, Chris? Tiny dace. Right, the flow's starting to slow off now. Really slowing off. I think we're about on the peak of the tide. Give them another bait dropper full. Try and concentrate these fish a bit higher up. Now it's slowing off. And that's it, it's virtually stood still now. I'm just going to try the punch without putting any punch feed in. See if we can get a bite on it. I may introduce some punch on this line. Need to think about feeding while the flow is standing still. That looks like a bite. Definitely a bite on the punch there. So back on the maggot. Well, the river is certainly stood still right now. Introduced two big bait droppers, one full of hemp, one full of maggots and pinkies, and the fish have come and sat straight on top of it. I think at this point having a whip set up might be beneficial, but I haven't set it up. It's probably not going to last this phase. I think right now we could probably loose feed. Get some bait in. Don't want to bring them off the bottom though. It's a little bit shy while it's stood still. And dipping the float enough. Just not connecting with everyone. Again, I'm probably just feeling the weight of the olivet right now. So look, we're in. Nice fish. Oh yeah, it's a better one. Gudgeon. Right, so we're an hour in and the float is just starting to turn. Feels a better fish, that. Ah, it's come off. Damn. Found a nice fish. Lovely. Stamp of these fish is improving. Oh, that's a better fish again. Is this a perch? Decent fish. Don't want it to find any weeds. Battling. Could be a perch, this. Yeah, it's a perch. Got in this time. Another good fish, and this one's a roach. So the maggot, hemp and stick float approach is working nicely. I'm just going to keep some bait going in there, big handfuls. I think there's a lot of fish. And while it's flowing slow, it's a case of getting some bait on the deck and try and hold them here for later. May not need to target the far side at all. There we go. Into another. That is a decent roach. Stamp's definitely improving. Flow is certainly starting to pick up a bit now. Lovely little skimmer. So I've just upped the hook size to a size 18 from a 20. Just lost a fairly decent perch. Still getting bites on the 18. Just took a roach, so they're certainly not hook shy. A reasonable amount of colour in the water today. But the flow is picking back up, so I think I'm pretty much going to stop loose feeding now, so I don't send the fish too far downstream. I'll go back with the bait dropper, keep introducing it on that. We should have enough feed down there to see us out for the next half an hour or so. Fish right down at the bottom of the run then. Weeded me and come off. Right, the river's really starting to run now. The rafts of weed that came upriver this morning are coming back down, and the stamp of my fish seems to be getting a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go back to introducing some bait on the bait dropper. Getting another big helping of hemp, and then we'll put plenty of maggot in again. Just wait for this raft to clear. And if the flow picks up harder, we'll probably pick up the 5 gram flat float, try it over the top of this line. Right, I've just started getting a few dodgy bites on the stick float. The flow's picking up, so getting the odd smash maggot. I think the bait is lifting in the water and probably finding the smaller fish, so I'm going to try the flat float on the pole, see if we can hold in position over the bait that we've put in on the bait dropper and find a better quality of fish. So quite simply, this rig is overshotted at the moment. I may take some of these BBs off, that's the overshot on it. But we've got a 5 gram olivet on there, a little group of number 3 shots, a little group of number 8 shots, 3 of them, another 3, another 3 and another 3, down to size 18 carbon match hook, 6 inches below that bulk. So we've got sort of 4 to keep it in position. The float itself is a Creluso torpedo, 5 gram, and the 15 gram setup is exactly the same as this, just obviously with more bulk shotting. Nothing. I'll take some of the overshotting off. Right, I've just removed the overshotting completely. Just going to see how that holds in the flow. It's not too bad, and that's a bite. That's a very good bite. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we bumped it. Difficult trying to strike on these fish. Getting some good bites, but bringing that float out of the water takes some effort. So I've got a fairly hefty elastic in. That's it, fish on. Lovely. Just wondering whether I'm going to be able to catch these to hand. Fish a bit closer in could speed me up. Bites are coming pretty quickly on this float. Just nudging it. I just want ABB overshot. I might just move the boat down a bit. There we go though, it's another fish. I feel a bad one. What is this? Roach. Definitely a nicer stamp. Let's just try this a bit shorter. See if we can get away with fishing short. We've had bait going in a reasonable space, but I think this might be just too short. Yeah, there's fish there. They're only small. Right, I've just lowered the bulk down to within 18 inches of the hook. Still got 3 groups of 3 number 8s running down there. Not gone back to overshotting just yet. Stick with the slightly longer line. I feel like we should be presenting somewhere on or near the bottom now. Yeah, there's a bite there. That's kind of surprising. It's absolutely scorching today. I'm not expecting this kind of weather. Early October. Mid-October actually. No, 9th. Yeah. Decent roach. And another. So holding steady in the flow is working nicely. Don't need to inch through right now. Feels a decent fish this as well. Yeah, lovely redfin. That's a beautiful fish. She's gone again. These really are feeling decent quality fish. think I'm going to up the hook size on this rig as well, because it's only on a 20 again. I'm not going that raft of weed. Took some getting in. That's a hybrid. Lovely. The bites are still coming. There's fish there. We've just got to make contact with them. Some of them are just dipping it. Maybe a little bit of overshotting will help. It seems like the flow's picking up even more now. The float's not fully riding out of the water though, so we're not too bad at the moment. I think I will add a BB in a second though. Just keep picking weed up at the moment. Right, I'm just going to try a bit of worm on this line. I've fed some in. See if we can catch on it. One on the worm. So the bites have just gone a little bit funny again. I think the flow's just picked up that little bit much. Starting to feel the resistance of the float. So I'm just going to pop another BB on. Overshot him by 2 now. There's fish there, we just need to get them out. Presentation is everything. Did we get him? Oh, I just missed him. Bits of weed. Getting a little bit tricky. And the weed is getting a little bit irritable as well. Getting on the rig. Come on. The water has really cleared up now since the tide came in this morning. Very little colour in it anymore. Finally. definitely running off like a good one right now. Trying to present this bait. So we get the bites. There's good fish there. Nice stamp roach. Odd skimmers, hybrids. Again, that looked like a bite, but I think there's so much rubbish coming through the river right now. That's a bite though, and that's a fish. Ah, it's off. Good fish as well. Nice stamp roach. The stamp of fish is definitely picked up on the flat float. It's a bit slower. It's probably worth the wait. Assuming we make them count. Okay, so inching the float through seems to be the better method right now. So 3 or 4 bites at the cherry there before I hook that fish. Could be a perch this. I think it might have snagged me. Ah dear. That's not good. See if we can pull him free. Gone. 2 fish gone. This is a nightmare. So much weed and rubbish on the bottom. It's difficult trying to keep the fish out of it, and you've no idea where it is. If they find it, it can be off as easy as that. And a fair bit of pressure on that fish as well. So let's try settle this float, inch it through, see if we can get another take quickly. Fish on, but only a small one. It's not what we wanted. Right, I'm just going to replumb the line. Make sure we're fishing in the right zone, not too over depth. Don't appear to be getting bites right now, but it's worth checking. Yeah, we look to be bang on depth. There we go, fish. Let's try and keep this one on. All right, Paul. Lovely. Right, I just made a couple more changes to the rig. I've grouped all the number 8 dropper shot right above the 6-inch hook length now. Olivet's still at 18 inches, but I've now got an extra BB below it, so that's 3 BB overshot. And I put 4-inch extra depth onto the rig as well. So I didn't do them all at once. I just tried to figure out what was going on with this peg. As soon as I got the extra depth on, and kept the bait down that little bit lower, hooked into a fish. Just got to keep making the changes with the flow and the depth to stay in touch with these fish. Constantly evolving is this river with the tide. So much rubbish coming down though, it's making it awkward trying to stay out of the way of it. And there we go, fish on. Another lovely little roach. It's just too much rubbish coming down my main line now. So I've just come inside out of that main flow, just hitting the crease a little bit. I'm probably just going to put one more bait dropper on this. We've got an hour to go. So we'll just give them a good feed. Right guys, that's time. Yeah, pretty much just continued in the same vein as what I had done with the flat float, making adjustments. Ended up with 4 BB overshot on it. Ended up probably going a foot over depth. And that was bringing more positive bites. I wish I'd kind of gone a lot more over depth to start with, but you've got to keep chopping and changing on here. The conditions are changing all the time. It became almost unfishable with the amount of weed that was coming down. I was just getting weed on the line all the time, getting wrapped around the float. It was becoming infuriating, to be honest. I apologise if you missed any of the video. The old camera off to the side again has let me down, keeps going off. I think it's the sun. It's been really hot today. It was forecast to be 18 degrees and overcast, so it's probably not done the fishing any favours, to be fair. Anyway, I've enjoyed the day. Who knows what I've had. We'll wait for the weigh-in and we'll see. Stay tuned. £1 kilo 930. Don't know what I've got. You don't know what they weigh, these little things, do you? Yeah, maybe. Might have less. How many?
You have 3 kilos.
What, on end?
Yeah. Come on, John.
I'm coming.
You should have a word with him next door, explain how to tip fish into a net.
They're all like it, Paul, they never know. There you go, pal.
Two kilos, 560.
I'll take that today. Thank you very much.
£5, innit?
Yeah. A little bit more. Yeah, just over. 2 kilo 560 today. Right, well that's the end of another match. What have I weighed there? 2.5 kilo, just over, so just a little bit over £5. I'm happy with that. It's the first time I've fished the venue, as I say. I had no real idea how to approach it in terms of feeding. I've just used the bait dropper all day. Chris next to me had 1 kilo 960, I think, so similar weight. Lad on the end peg, first one to weigh in my section, had 3 kilo. So again, I've been there or thereabouts. I've no idea what's won it in my zone. Yeah, they were still weighing in. Anyway, I'll get all the results up for you now and you can see who the qualifiers were. I've thoroughly enjoyed the day. It's been completely different fishing a tidal river for a change. I definitely know a few things that I'd tweak and change for the next time that I come, and I'll probably do a feature on this in the winter. Come down and have a go on the bread. Apparently it's meant to be really good fishing in the winter when the fish shoal up in the deeper water. I think the sun's probably killed it a little bit today. It's been really bright. It was supposed to be overcast and 18 degrees C, as I think I said before, so it is what it is. Anyway, if you enjoyed it guys, you know the drill. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Till the next one, tight lines.